Welcome to the Creating Sacred Space curriculum. My name is Scott Wright. I'm very happy to join you today as your instructor and mentor. My wife Lorraine and I have created this curriculum to help people understand how simple it is to connect with nature in simple ways. For me, it was done inside of a sunflower circle. I will guide you through 8 wonderful lessons. They will lay the foundation for creating this sacred space. To begin with, we'll be creating and planting our garden with an intention. Next, preparing the space and nurturing that space with abundance. Then, as it grows, we'll begin to experience the wonder and parallel that with lessons of self-worth. Then move on to discovering the sunflower circle ecosystem, exploring the patterns found in nature, learning stillness and practicing mindfulness, harvesting of the seeds in the circle, and then finally giving gratitude in the season of transition. Creating Sacred Space is a very powerful curriculum because it teaches every participant, from young children to adults, through actual experiences that they have, the skills necessary to quiet the mind, to become an observer, and to learn a healthy practice for dealing with life's emotional ups and downs. The objectives of this course are to help establish a stronger connection to nature, help you learn to be an observer, developing coping skills for handling daily stresses and anxieties, and expanding awareness about oneself. Discovering lessons taught in stillness, and experiencing nature as the teacher. So let's begin with Lesson 1, Creating and Planting with Intention. Welcome to my sacred space, the sunflower circle. For many years I have created a sunflower circle in my garden as a sacred space where I could go and sit and have it as a refuge from the daily cares of this world. I discovered lessons in those moments that I want to share with you throughout this course. You can share in those lessons and experience those lessons together with me for yourself. The sunflower is a powerful plant. As you can see in this video, they gently turn their heads and follow the sun from east to west every day. Planting and growing sunflowers is like growing light. The sunflower circle is my sacred space because it has been a refuge, a classroom, and a mirror to learn more about myself. The sunflower circle has been a gift to my mind, my body, and especially my spirit. It has increased my overall sense of happiness and connection in my life. The sacred space is not a playground. It's an important distinction to make with your students. In a conversation with them, you should ask what they believe the difference is between creating a sacred space and a playground. They will discover this distinction for themselves, and this establishes an important reverence, a reverence agreement for everyone entering into the sunflower circle, where you can be still and allow nature to be nature. So why is creating a sacred space important for you in your classroom? It's important to pause for a few minutes and think about this question. To help you answer this, we've created a personal sacred space assessment to prompt your thoughts. Using the assessment found in your materials, answer the following questions. Where do you go to be still? Where do you spend time to connect with nature? Where do you spend thinking time? Where do you create time for wonder? In addition to answering where, include why in each of your responses. And then, on the right-hand side, consider how effective this place is for you and respond very, somewhat, or not at all to each question. It is important for each participant or student to take this assessment in order to realize the importance for sacred space in their own lives. Your answers will guide you as we explore your intentions for creating the Sunflower Circle. Through this assessment, students start to understand how sometimes we see but don't really see, and we hear but we don't really hear. This is because we're not fully present. Dr. Wayne Dyer, the internationally renowned author and teacher on self-development, said, "Our intention creates our reality." What does this mean? What are our intentions? Let's talk about that for a minute so we can create a meaningful conversation with our students about their intentions. Our intentions are rooted in our desires. They are our motivations or our wills at work, whether or not we're aware of them. If we're not aware of our intentions, the strongest one will win out. Intentions set into motion every action in our lives. So if our intention is to grow a beautiful sunflower circle, we will take every action necessary to grow it. If our intention is to try to grow a beautiful sunflower circle, we will take actions that try, but we may fall short since our intention was to try versus to grow. This is an important lesson for students to understand and to think about their own intentions in other aspects of their lives. Once everyone understands intentions, guide the conversation to explore what your intentions are for creating and planting a sunflower circle as a sacred space. To customize this experience of the sunflower circle for your group, ask your students, what is your intention for the sunflower circle? Give each student the intention worksheet to think about what they want to experience in the sunflower circle. The intention worksheet can be found in your materials. There are 10 suggestions and 3 blank boxes for students to write other thoughts. Once students are finished, ask what some of their intentions are. Most answers will be around the topics of being, learning, creating, and connecting. Listen to everyone's answers, and you can agree upon 3 or 4 intentions that you want to have with creating and planting the sunflower circle. You should ask the students how these intentions would show up on a daily basis. What will their actions look like if these are their intentions? Create an agreement with students to honor the actions they discuss in order to keep their intentions in focus. Another aspect of planting the sunflower circle is to incorporate the power of the number 4. In many indigenous cultures, the belief is held that many occurrences in nature happen in 4s, and 4 is a sacred number. By embracing the number 4, we teach students about the 4 elements, the 4 seasons, the 4 directions, the 4 winds, and the 4 chambers of the heart. Let's take a closer look at each of these and how the sunflower circle incorporates learning. As students work and plant within the sunflower circle, they will be exposed to all of the 4 elements: earth, air, water, and fire. They'll be planting in the earth, using water to feed the plants. They will experience winds gently blowing in breezes through the leaves, and also fire from the energy from the sun that feeds the plants, as well as after harvesting, the stalks will be burned and mulched back into the ground. The 4 elements will also be discussed in future lessons. In Lesson 2, Preparing the Space and Nurturing with Abundance, and in Lesson 7, Harvesting the Circle. Students will also experience the four seasons of spring, summer, fall, and winter as we live through each season during the year. We will notice the changes in the circle and how each season is necessary, not only to the circle, but in our own lives. Future lessons draw parallels with our experiences in the circle with our individual lives, whether we are young children in the spring of our lives or an older adult in the fall of our lives. Students will also observe the importance of the four directions to the sunflower circle. Students will see the sunflowers as they turn to follow the sun early in the morning, looking to the east, and move throughout the day until they watch it set in the west. These observations will help the students to see how these amazing plants intuitively know where the sun will be and the critical nature of the sun to their growth. They will also observe the lengthening shadows as the seasons change and the sun moves to the south. Similarly, the wind supports the learning of the directions. As students observe the winds, they learn the climate differences of each wind and the impact the wind has on the circle, such as warm winds from the south and cold winds from the north. They also observe the seasons that the winds are associated with. In Lesson 2, we will discuss the use of chimes in the circle to help students observe, experience, and identify the winds, and listen to the winds as they blow through the sunflower circle. They'll hear the language of the wind in nature through the large leaves, blossoms, and stems of these beautiful plants. The heart has four chambers, two upper atria, known as the receiving chambers, and two lower ventricles known as the discharging chambers. The cerebrum, or cortex, is the largest part of the human brain, associated with higher brain function, such as thought and action. The cerebral cortex is divided into four sections called lobes: the frontal lobe, the parietal lobe, the occipital lobe, and the temporal lobe. Students will learn how our brains and hearts are affected in both positive and negative ways by our emotions and our habits. Examples would be how stress, fatigue, and poor sleep, poor diet, and exercise affect our hearts, and also how our thoughts and emotions affect our brains. This is often a powerful aha moment for older students and adults. The sunflower circle creates a space that quiets the mind, creates a deep connection to nature, and does not pass judgments. Students learn how this has a very positive effect on our hearts and our minds through the moments they experience in the sunflower circle. As these experiences occur in the sunflower circle, students are taught to keep a reflection journal in order to ponder and articulate the individual learning they each experience. Harvard Business School recently published a working paper entitled Learning by Thinking: How Reflection Improves Performance. The authors argue that learning from direct experience can be more effective if coupled with reflection, that is, the intentional attempt to synthesize, abstract, and articulate the key lessons taught by experience. They find that reflection on learning brings about greater self-efficacy, or individual's belief in his or her ability and confidence to control one's motivation, behavior, and social environment. Reflection is a powerful mechanism behind learning, confirming the words of American philosopher, psychologist, and educational reformer John Dewey. We do not learn from experience, we learn from reflecting on experience. The reflection journal is used throughout the course, and each student is encouraged to personalize their journal and create a heartfulness practice, writing from the heart. Each reflection exercise will be guided by 3 questions: what did you see, what did you feel, and what did you learn? Students will also write about those aha moments or learnings that may have been surprises or really touched them in a meaningful way. There are many options for these journals discussed in the course materials. Another tradition of the sunflower circle is the use of the talking stick, or as we call it, the speaking stick, to generate conversation and sharing. On a regular basis, students can be gathered in the classroom to share from their reflection journals key elements of individual learning. The use of the speaking stick creates healthy boundaries around participation and sharing personal reflections. The guidelines for using the speaking stick are as follows. Everyone has a turn to hold the speaking stick, and it is only them speaking when they hold it. Expression can be verbalized, spoken, or felt, observing feelings. There is no judgment with what people express. Everyone is thanked for sharing. Due to the possible size of the gatherings, it is recommended that this gathering not be done inside the sunflower circle. I have created speaking sticks from sunflower stalks, and if desired, these sticks can be purchased on my website, or you can build your own. On my website, I have an advanced course providing instruction on how to make speaking sticks from your own sunflower stalks. I've adorned my speaking stick with symbols that represent the 4 elements: a shell for water, a feather for air, a piece of bristlecone pine for earth, and a sunflower pendant for fire, the energy of the sun. In the course materials, there are several options and instructions for creating a speaking stick and personalizing it to support the intention of creating your sacred space. You can actually use whatever kind of stick or object you'd like to accomplish this. As we conclude Lesson 1, I want to give you a sneak peek of what's coming up in Lesson 2 and 3. In Lesson 2, we will prepare the ground for the sunflower circle and create the layout or map of the circle using the 4 directions representing the 4 seasons prior to planting the circle. Seeds are provided and the circle is planted. We'll give you instructions on how to customize this for your own group. In Lesson 3, we start to experience the early blooming season of the circle. As flowers sprout and grow, we discuss the power of wonder in our lives as well as our own self-worth and how we value our differences. In this lesson, students can commit to become what we like to call pay-attentioners. So to wrap up, I want to thank you for joining me today in Lesson 1 of Creating Sacred Space. I invite you to continue to join me in Lessons 2 through 8 to realize the full benefit of creating sacred space in order to enrich our lives and foster healthy habits that will contribute in meaningful ways to our body, mind, spirit, and overall happiness. For those that continue the lessons, I have additional resources online as well as several advanced courses that teach students how to create gifts from the sunflower circle, such as their own speaking stick, walking sticks, and native flutes. I hope to meet you again in the sunflower circle, where together we will grow light.
You and I in the garden, growing light, growing light, growing light. Growing light, growing light, growing light. You and I